You can buy yourself a Harley and you can get yourself a really smoking hot leather jacket, make you a real biker. And it sure doesn't make you a member of the Hells Angels.
Established in 1948, the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club has earned a worldwide reputation for its uncompromising approach to membership. These 15 mandatory rules control every aspect of members' lives, from how they dress to who they talk to. Far from being casual guidelines, these rules are brutally enforced with serious consequences for those who step out of line. Understanding these rules gives us a rare look inside the secretive brotherhood that has maintained its fearsome reputation for over 70 years. Number 15. Strict chain of command.
Right, and you mentioned your leadership style is you would lead from the front, which is unique. You wouldn't ask anyone to go on a mission, you wouldn't go on yourself, correct?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, I was there on the front lines. I think it got me the respect of not only my people, but I think it got me the respect of other clubs.
Every successful organization needs clear leadership, and the Hells Angels are no different. Their military-style chain of command keeps everyone in line and maintains the order that's helped them survive for decades. This isn't just about having bosses, it's about creating a structure where every single member knows exactly where they stand. At the top of each chapter sits the president, the undisputed leader who oversees everything and makes sure rules are followed. Under him is the vice president, who steps up when the president can't be there and helps carry out his orders. The secretary keeps all the records, writing down what happens at meetings and handling the club's paperwork. Money matters fall to the treasurer, who collects dues and manages the club's finances. Perhaps the most visible leader is the sergeant at arms, who enforces the rules and keeps everyone in line during meetings and events. This leadership structure isn't just for show. Each rank comes with real power and serious responsibilities. Members must show absolute respect to those above them in the chain, following orders without question or hesitation. Challenging authority or disrespecting leadership can get you in big trouble, maybe even kicked out of the club completely. What makes this system work is that even the leaders have to follow the rules. Having a high rank doesn't put you above the law of the club. Leaders who fail in their duties face consequences just like anyone else. This creates an atmosphere where everyone knows exactly what's expected of them. The strict hierarchy allows for quick decisions when needed and creates a culture where respect for authority becomes second nature. Members understand that this chain of command is what keeps the Hells Angels functioning as the tight brotherhood it's known to be. The structure helps cement their fearsome reputation by ensuring members act as a unified force, rather than individuals doing whatever they want. This rigid command structure touches every aspect of club life, even dictating seemingly personal choices. For example, while the club has been associated with the drug trade, individual members face a strict rule about their own drug use, a rule that might surprise many outsiders. Number 14. No drugs policy.
Drugs?
Well, they were dealing drugs.
But that was one of the Hells Angels rules, though, wasn't it? Not really?
Not really.
Not really, okay.
It might seem surprising that an organization often linked to drug trafficking would ban its members from using drugs, but that's exactly how the Hells Angels operate. Their no drugs policy is strict and simple. Members are forbidden from using hard drugs like heroin, methamphetamine, or cocaine. This rule isn't based on moral concerns, it's purely practical. The reasoning behind this rule is straightforward. Drug use leads to poor judgment and bad decisions. A member high on hard drugs might talk too much, make stupid mistakes, or become unreliable when the club needs them most. Someone with clouded thinking can't be trusted to protect the club's interests or keep its secrets. In an organization where trust is everything, anything that compromises clear thinking is seen as a serious threat. Consequences for breaking this rule are severe. Members caught using or possessing hard drugs face punishment ranging from heavy fines to being suspended or even permanently kicked out of the club. These harsh penalties show just how seriously the Hells Angels take this policy. By keeping drugs out of their internal operations, the club maintains a level of discipline and control that might surprise outsiders. The rule helps ensure members stay focused on club objectives and keeps their loyalty undivided. In an organization constantly under scrutiny from law enforcement, clear-headed members are essential. The drug rule serves another purpose. It helps distinguish between business and personal behavior. While the club may be involved in drug-related activities as an organization, individual members are expected to stay clean and sharp. This separation allows the Hells Angels to function more effectively as a unit, with members who can be counted on to make sound decisions. This seemingly contradictory rule highlights the practical nature of the Hells Angels' internal policies. They don't make rules based on outside moral standards, but on what best serves the organization's continued survival and success. The no drugs policy ensures that even while operating in dangerous territory, members remain disciplined and in control. With clear minds, members can focus on another crucial element of their identity: the motorcycles that give the club its name and serve as powerful symbols of the freedom they represent. Number 13. Compulsory motorcycle ownership. At the very heart of the Hells Angels' identity is the motorcycle, specifically the Harley-Davidson. One rule that absolutely cannot be broken is that every member must own and maintain a working Harley-Davidson motorcycle. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a mandatory requirement that's strictly enforced. Failing to own a Harley-Davidson can result in disciplinary action or even expulsion from the club. The motorcycle isn't just transportation, it represents the core of what the Hells Angels stand for. It's a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and the open road lifestyle that defines biker culture. Members take enormous pride in their machines, often spending thousands of dollars customizing and maintaining them. These aren't just vehicles, they're extensions of the riders themselves, reflecting their personality and commitment to the club. The distinctive rumble of Harley engines has become inseparable from the Hells Angels' image, creating an intimidating presence wherever they ride. The club expects members to ride regularly, not just own a bike that sits in the garage. Participation in group rides is essential, especially during official club events and gatherings. The sight and sound of dozens of Harleys riding in formation creates a powerful statement about the club's unity and strength. By making motorcycle ownership compulsory, the Hells Angels ensure that every member literally has skin in the game. The financial investment required to purchase and maintain a Harley-Davidson demonstrates commitment to the lifestyle. It separates casual enthusiasts from those truly dedicated to the biker way of life. This rule also serves a practical purpose. It ensures that all members can participate in rides and events, which are central to club activities. The shared experience of riding creates bonds between members that strengthen the brotherhood. There's a unique camaraderie that develops among those who face the elements and the dangers of the road together. The motorcycle requirement stands as one of the most visible symbols of membership. When the public sees a Hells Angel, they expect to see him on a Harley-Davidson. This consistency has helped cement the club's image in popular culture and maintains a tradition that dates back to their founding in 1948. Those Harleys don't just sit in garages either. They're ridden to countless mandatory meetings and events where attendance isn't optional. It's another unbreakable rule of membership. Number 12. Mandatory meetings and events.
You have a wife, 2 kids.
Good job.
Good job. You're a Teamster, right?
Right.
And now they're telling you you got to move to Minnesota to join this 1% motorcycle gang.
Right.
Being a Hells Angel isn't a part-time commitment. The club demands significant time from its members through mandatory meetings and events that no one is allowed to miss without serious consequences. These gatherings are the backbone of club operations and help maintain the tight bonds that hold the brotherhood together. Weekly or bi-weekly church meetings form the foundation of club business. During these sessions, members discuss upcoming events, address internal issues, and make important decisions affecting the chapter. Attendance isn't optional, it's a fundamental obligation of membership. Missing meetings without a legitimate excuse can result in fines or other punishments that increase with repeated absences. Beyond regular meetings, the Hells Angels calendar includes numerous mandatory events throughout the year. These range from charity rides and parties to memorial services honoring fallen brothers. Each member is expected to participate fully, putting club commitments ahead of personal plans or family obligations. These events are taken very seriously. a member who chooses a family vacation over a required club gathering might face disciplinary action. These events serve multiple purposes. First, they strengthen the bonds between members, creating shared experiences that build trust and solidarity. Second, they demonstrate the club's presence and unity to outsiders, including rival clubs. The intimidating sight of Hell's Angels riding together in formation sends a powerful message about their strength and cohesion. For members, these mandatory gatherings represent more than mere obligations. They're opportunities to demonstrate loyalty to the Brotherhood. By consistently showing up and participating, members prove their dedication to the club and their brothers. This reliability becomes a measure of a member's standing within the organization. The Hell's Angels take attendance very seriously. Members typically need to provide advance notice if they cannot attend, and only legitimate reasons like serious illness, work obligations, or family emergencies are accepted. Even then, excessive absences can lead to questioning of a member's commitment. These mandatory meetings and events also serve as a control mechanism, keeping members connected to the club's activities and under the watchful eye of leadership. Regular face-to-face interaction ensures that issues can be addressed quickly and that all members stay informed about club matters. For prospective members, the time commitment represents one of the most challenging aspects of joining the Hell's Angels. The club demands priority in members' lives, often above work, family, and other relationships. This hierarchy of loyalty, with the club at the top, separates casual enthusiasts from those truly committed to the Hell's Angels way of life. Many of these important gatherings take place in the clubhouse, a space governed by its own set of strict rules designed to protect the Brotherhood's privacy and maintain order. Number 11. Clubhouse rules. Each Hell's Angels chapter maintains a clubhouse that serves as their sanctuary, a place where members can gather away from prying eyes. These spaces aren't just meeting halls, they're the physical heart of the chapter's identity and operations. To protect these important spaces, the club enforces strict rules that members and their rare visitors must follow without question. The clubhouse typically features the club's colors and symbols prominently displayed, along with photos of current and former members, especially those who have died. These spaces often include meeting areas, bars, entertainment spaces, and sometimes sleeping quarters for members who need temporary housing. The atmosphere inside combines the feel of a private club, a fortress, and a shrine to the Hell's Angels' legacy. Access control is among the most important clubhouse rules. Outsiders are strictly prohibited unless specifically invited by a full member. Even then, the inviting member must accompany their guest at all times and takes full responsibility for their behavior. This tight control over who enters helps maintain security and prevents unwanted attention from law enforcement or rival clubs. Before important meetings, the space might even be checked for surveillance devices. Inside the clubhouse, fighting between members is absolutely forbidden. While the Hell's Angels have a reputation for violence, they keep internal conflicts from erupting into physical altercations inside their sacred space. Disputes must be settled through proper channels, not through personal confrontations that might damage property or Brotherhood unity. Stealing from the clubhouse or from fellow members is considered an extreme violation of trust and can result in severe punishment. Members share responsibility for maintaining the clubhouse. Cleaning duties, repairs, security monitoring, and restocking supplies are assigned on a rotating basis. Failing to perform these duties is seen as disrespect for the shared space and fellow members. Everyone is expected to contribute to keeping the clubhouse functioning. During official meetings, phones might be collected to prevent recording, and additional security measures are implemented. These precautions reflect the Hell's Angels' emphasis on privacy and their distrust of outside interference. Maintaining the secrecy of club business is paramount, especially in an era of increased surveillance. The clubhouse also serves as a place for ceremonies and traditions, including the initiation of new members and memorial services for those who have died. These spaces hold significant emotional importance for members, containing the shared history and collective memory of the chapter. For members, respecting clubhouse rules demonstrates commitment to the Brotherhood's values. Violations can result in fines, suspension of clubhouse privileges, or more severe punishments. The space represents not just a physical location, but the tangible manifestation of their collective identity. The clubhouse environment, like much of Hell's Angels culture, reflects their traditional values, including their unwavering stance on keeping membership exclusively male, another rule that has remained unchanged despite decades of social change. Number 10. No women as full members. Since its founding in 1948, the Hells Angels have maintained one rule without exception: women cannot become full members. Despite societal changes in gender roles over the decades, this male-only membership policy remains absolute, with no signs of changing. The club considers itself a brotherhood in the most literal sense, maintaining a space exclusively for men. This rule reflects the Hells Angels' self-identity as a masculine organization built around traditionally male values. The club views its internal culture and activities as fundamentally incompatible with female membership, preserving what members see as the essential character of their organization. While some motorcycle clubs have admitted women over the years, the Hells Angels have steadfastly refused to change their stance. Though women cannot join as members, they still play significant roles in the Hells Angels ecosystem. Many women are connected to the club as old ladies, the wives, girlfriends, or partners of full members. These women form their own social hierarchy and community adjacent to the main club structure. They often have their own gatherings and support systems while maintaining relationships with members. The term "property of," followed by a member's name, is sometimes displayed on a patch worn by these women, which outsiders often misinterpret as suggesting ownership. Within the club culture, this designation serves more as a boundary marker, indicating to other members that a relationship exists that should be respected. Old ladies often attend certain social events, rides, and parties, but they are excluded from official meetings and internal club business. Their presence is particularly notable at public gatherings, where they help present the club's image to the outside world. However, they have no vote in club matters and cannot wear the official death head patch that identifies full members. The male-only membership policy helps maintain the Hells Angels' image as a tough, masculine organization, untouched by the changing gender dynamics of mainstream society. This exclusivity contributes to the mystique and traditional outlaw image the club has cultivated throughout its history. For prospective members, understanding the rigid gender boundary is essential. The Hells Angels make no apologies for this policy and show no interest in changing it to accommodate modern sensibilities. The rule stands as one of the clearest examples of how the club operates according to its own internal value system, regardless of external criticism. Women connected to the Hells Angels understand that they will never have the same status as male members. Their role, while important to the social fabric of the club, remains distinctly separate from the brotherhood itself. This clear distinction of roles reflects the traditional values that continue to define the organization despite decades of social change in the wider world. The exclusive nature of membership reinforces another core value of the Hells Angels: the absolute loyalty expected from those who are admitted to the inner circle. Number 9. Loyalty above all.
The number one rule of the Hells Angel Code is always back your brothers. I learned that before I even became a member.
When it comes to Hells Angels membership, nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important than loyalty to the club and your brothers. This isn't just a nice ideal, it's the fundamental requirement that shapes every aspect of a member's life. The loyalty expected goes far beyond what most people experience in their everyday relationships or organizations. From the moment a prospect becomes a full member, he's expected to put the club first, before family, before work, before personal interests, and sometimes even before the law. This loyalty means being willing to defend fellow members physically if needed, providing financial support when a brother is struggling, and offering protection against threats from outsiders. When called upon, a member must be ready to drop everything and respond to the club's needs without hesitation. The Hells Angels concept of loyalty includes maintaining complete silence about club business with outsiders. Members are forbidden from discussing internal matters with anyone not in the club, not with police, not with journalists, not even with close family members. This code of silence has helped the organization maintain its mystique and avoid legal consequences despite decades of scrutiny from authorities. Loyalty is tested most severely when members face legal pressure. The Hells Angels have a strict no-snitching policy. Members are expected to accept legal consequences rather than provide information about club activities or implicate fellow members. Those who cooperate with authorities are not only expelled, but may face violent retaliation. The club's motto, "Three can keep a secret if two are dead," reflects the seriousness with which they view betrayal. This emphasis on absolute loyalty creates a powerful support system for members. When a Hells Angel faces trouble, whether legal problems, financial hardship, or personal crisis, he can count on his brothers to stand beside him. This mutual support forms a safety net that many members value above all other aspects of club membership. The loyalty requirement extends to how members represent the club in public. They must protect the Hells Angels' reputation and image at all times, avoiding behaviors that might bring negative attention or disrespect to the organization. This representation includes properly displaying club insignia and behaving in ways that reflect the club's values. For those considering membership, the loyalty demand represents perhaps the most significant commitment. Prospects must understand that joining means placing the Hells Angels at the center of their identity and decision-making for as long as they wear the patch. This absolute dedication to the Brotherhood forms the foundation upon which all other club rules are built. But this loyalty isn't given freely. It must be earned through a challenging process that tests every aspect of a prospect's character and commitment. Number 8. Prospecting period.
Because every time I got a job, you start doing a job, you get a job, a brand new job, and you work it. You're there a week, and he says, "We're leaving Friday for Chicago." And I tell the employer, "Hey, I won't be here Friday," and they went, "See ya."
Before earning the coveted Hells Angels patches and becoming a full member, every candidate must complete a demanding probationary period known as prospecting. This challenging phase tests the individual's commitment, reliability, and worthiness to join the exclusive Brotherhood. Far from being a mere formality, the prospecting period represents one of the most rigorous aspects of Hells Angels membership. The journey begins when an existing member sponsors a candidate, vouching for their character and potential value to the club. This sponsorship is not given lightly, as the sponsor puts his own reputation on the line by bringing someone new into the fold. Once accepted as a prospect, the candidate receives a bottom rocker patch indicating their prospective status, but not the full death head insignia worn by members. The prospecting period typically lasts between 6 months and 2 years, though this time frame can vary based on individual performance and chapter practices. During this time, prospects exist in a limbo state, not quite members but no longer outsiders. They must prove themselves worthy through consistent dedication and service to the club. Prospects face a grueling schedule of obligations. They must attend all meetings, rides, and events without exception. When not participating in official activities, they're expected to spend time at the clubhouse, getting to know members and learning club culture. This immersion allows existing members to evaluate the prospect's character and compatibility with the Brotherhood. Service forms a central part of the prospecting experience. Prospects are assigned various tasks, from mundane chores like cleaning the clubhouse and running errands to more significant responsibilities supporting club operations. They might be tasked with motorcycle maintenance, security duties at events, or delivering messages between members. Through these assignments, prospects demonstrate their reliability and willingness to put the club first. Throughout the prospecting period, candidates are closely observed by all full members. Their behavior, attitude, and loyalty are constantly evaluated. Do they complain about assignments? Do they arrive on time? Can they be trusted with sensitive information? Every interaction becomes a test of character and commitment. Prospects have few rights within the club structure. They cannot vote on club matters, must show deference to all full members, and can be dismissed from gatherings when private club business is discussed. This subordinate status serves both to test the prospect's humility and to protect the club's security during the evaluation period. The physical demands can be intense. Prospects might be expected to participate in long rides regardless of weather conditions, demonstrate fighting ability if needed, and show physical toughness in various situations. While the specific challenges vary between chapters, All prospects must prove they possess the physical and mental strength to represent the Hells Angels. Not everyone survives this gauntlet. Many prospects drop out when faced with the extreme time commitment or the subordinate treatment. Others are dismissed for failing to meet expectations or breaking rules. Only those who demonstrate unwavering dedication throughout the entire prospective period earn the right to be voted in as full members. For those who succeed, the transition from prospect to full member represents a profound life change. The new member receives his full patch, including the Death Head logo, and is formally welcomed into the Brotherhood. This moment marks the end of the testing period, but the beginning of a lifetime commitment to the club and its values. Number 7. Financial commitments. After successfully completing the grueling prospecting period, a newly patched member quickly learns that wearing the colors comes with significant financial responsibilities. Money matters in the Hells Angels are taken very seriously, with members expected to contribute regularly to keep the club running smoothly. The most basic financial obligation is paying dues, typically collected monthly or weekly depending on the chapter. These dues aren't optional. They're mandatory payments that help cover clubhouse rent, utilities, legal expenses, and other operating costs. The specific amount varies between chapters, but all members must pay regardless of their personal financial situation. Missing dues payments is considered a serious offense that demonstrates a lack of commitment to the Brotherhood. Beyond regular dues, members often contribute to special funds for specific purposes. Perhaps the most important is the Legal Defense Fund, which provides financial support for brothers facing court cases or legal troubles. Given the club's frequent run-ins with law enforcement, maintaining a healthy legal fund is essential for protecting members when they face charges. Every member is expected to chip in, knowing they might need that same support someday. The financial commitments don't stop there. Members must purchase and maintain their own club-related gear, including the official patches, vests, and other merchandise displaying Hells Angels insignia. These items aren't cheap. The complete set of patches alone can cost hundreds of dollars. Since these items represent the club's identity, members are expected to keep them in good condition and replace them when necessary. Owning and maintaining a Harley-Davidson motorcycle represents another major financial commitment. These bikes aren't just transportation, they're required equipment for membership. With new Harleys costing $15,000 to $40,000 plus customization expenses, the motorcycle alone represents a significant investment. Add in the costs of maintenance, fuel, insurance, and repairs, and the financial burden becomes substantial. Members also face expenses related to attending mandatory events, runs, and gatherings. These often involve travel costs, accommodations, food, and other expenses that can add up quickly, especially for events that last several days. Despite these costs, attendance isn't optional, and financial hardship is rarely accepted as an excuse for missing important club functions. When members face financial difficulties, there's an expectation that they'll find a way to meet their obligations rather than asking for relief. Taking on extra work, selling personal possessions, or making other sacrifices might be necessary to fulfill financial commitments to the club. Those who consistently fail to meet their financial obligations may face disciplinary actions ranging from fines, ironically adding to their financial burden, to suspension or even expulsion in extreme cases. The Hells Angels' strict financial requirements serve several purposes. They ensure the club has resources to operate, they demonstrate members' commitment, and they help maintain the organization's independence from outside influences. These financial obligations are intertwined with the club's visual identity, particularly through the distinctive tattoos and symbols that members proudly display on their bodies. Number 6. Tattoos and symbols.
And one of the Massachusetts members, which he's not a member anymore now, his name is Kevin.
The Hells Angels' identity is visually reinforced through powerful tattoos and symbols that members wear with pride. Far more than just decoration, these markings represent a deep commitment to the club and carry specific meanings that outsiders often don't understand. At the center of Hells Angels' symbolism is the famous Death Head logo, a skull with wings wearing a motorcycle helmet. This trademarked symbol is the club's most recognizable emblem and appears on patches, motorcycles, and as tattoos on members' bodies. Only full members can wear the death head, and they protect this symbol fiercely. The club has even pursued legal action against companies or individuals who use their imagery without permission. Many members choose to get Hell's Angels tattoos to show their lifelong dedication to the Brotherhood. Common tattoos include AFA, Angels Forever, Forever Angels, 81, representing H and A, the 8th and 1st letters of the alphabet, and various versions of the Death Head logo. These tattoos aren't casual choices, they represent a permanent commitment that can't be easily removed or hidden. The location of tattoos often carries significance within the club. More visible placements like the neck, face, or hands demonstrate a higher level of commitment, since these tattoos can't be concealed in everyday life and may limit other career opportunities. Some tattoos are reserved for members who've reached certain milestones or hold specific positions within the organization. Members must follow strict rules about when and how they display club symbols. The death head can only be tattooed on a member after they've been officially patched in, and specific guidelines dictate the size and placement of these tattoos. Unauthorized use of Hell's Angels symbols, especially by non-members, is considered extremely disrespectful and can lead to violent confrontations. Former members who leave the club, whether voluntarily or through expulsion, are expected to remove or cover any Hell's Angels tattoos. This often involves painful cover-up work or laser removal procedures. Some chapters may forcibly remove tattoos from expelled members, particularly in cases involving severe betrayal or disloyalty. The symbols themselves carry layered meanings within biker culture. The wings represent freedom and the open road, while the skull symbolizes the members' willingness to face death for their brothers. Club-specific variations may include local chapter names, founding dates, or memorials to fallen members. Beyond tattoos, these same symbols appear prominently on members' clothing, creating a distinctive uniform that identifies them to both fellow members and outsiders. The powerful visual impact of Hell's Angels symbols is deliberately designed to inspire respect and sometimes fear, serving as a constant reminder of the club's strength and unity. These permanent markings on members' bodies reflect the permanent nature of their commitment to the Hell's Angels. Like wedding rings that never come off, these tattoos symbolize a lifelong bond to the Brotherhood. But unlike wedding rings, they can't be easily removed if a member has a change of heart. This permanent commitment extends beyond the skin to include specific rules about what members wear when representing the club. Number 5. Biker attire. The Hell's Angels have strict rules about what members wear, particularly when representing the club in public. This dress code isn't just about looking intimidating, it's about showing unity, respect for tradition, and proper representation of the Brotherhood. Every item from head to toe follows specific guidelines that members must follow or face consequences. The centerpiece of Hell's Angels attire is the cut, a leather or denim vest that displays the club's patches. The back of this vest features the full 3-piece patch, the top rocker with the club name, the center death head logo, and the bottom rocker showing the territory or chapter location. Only full members who've completed the prospecting period and been voted in can wear these patches. The front of the cut typically displays smaller patches indicating rank, position, or personal achievements within the club. Some members may have patches showing years of membership, specific roles like treasurer or sergeant at arms, or commemorative patches for major club events they've attended. These patches aren't just sewn on casually. There are specific rules about their placement, size, and condition. Members are expected to keep their patches clean and well maintained as a sign of respect. Damaged or dirty patches reflect poorly on the club and may result in disciplinary action. If a patch becomes too worn, it must be properly replaced rather than allowed to deteriorate. The Death Head logo must be positioned exactly in the center of the back, with the top and bottom rockers placed at precise distances above and below it. Even the stitching must be done properly, usually with heavy-duty thread that won't easily tear away. Beyond the cut, members are expected to dress in ways that project the club's tough image. This typically includes jeans, boots, and often leather jackets for riding. Bandanas or do-rags, heavy rings, chains, and leather gloves complete the look. While there's room for personal style, certain elements are considered essential when representing the club. The jeans are typically blue or black denim, often well worn, but never tattered or fashionably ripped. Boots are almost always heavy leather, with steel toes preferred by many members, both for protection while riding and for their intimidating appearance. Members must be particularly careful about what brands they wear. Clothing companies associated with rival clubs are strictly forbidden. In some chapters, members are prohibited from wearing items that might be seen as disrespectful to the club's image, such as clothing with political messages not aligned with the group's values. For example, wearing apparel from companies that sponsor rival clubs could result in immediate disciplinary action. Even certain designer brands might be discouraged if they're seen as too fancy or at odds with the rugged biker image. Special events like funerals for fallen brothers, court appearances, or major runs have their own specific dress codes. For funerals, members typically wear clean, formal versions of their club attire as a sign of respect. This might include freshly cleaned cuts, black jeans instead of blue, polished boots, and sometimes white shirts underneath. For court, some chapters require members to dress more conventionally to present a respectable image to judges and juries, possibly removing some of the more intimidating accessories while still maintaining their identity as club members. When riding as a group, uniformity becomes even more important. Members are expected to wear proper riding gear, including helmets in states with helmet laws, despite the stereotype of bikers rejecting such protection. The club values safety during rides and doesn't want unnecessary attention from law enforcement for easily avoidable violations. On long rides, members might be required to wear specific colors or matching accessories to create a unified appearance that emphasizes the club's strength and organization. Weather considerations are addressed in the dress code as well. During hot summer rides, members might remove their heavy leather jackets, but the cut with patches must always remain visible. For cold weather, specific types of riding gloves, face protection, and layered clothing might be recommended or required, but never in a way that obscures the club's patches or identity. The attire rules extend to prospective members as well, though in a more limited way. Prospects wear a bottom rocker indicating their status, but aren't permitted to display the Death Head logo or top rocker until they become full members. This visual difference constantly reminds prospects of their lower status within the hierarchy. Prospects might also be required to wear specific items that visually identify them as not yet full members, reinforcing their position in the club's strict hierarchy. The Hells Angels take their dress code seriously enough that violations can result in disciplinary action. Members who fail to wear proper attire at mandatory events or who disrespect the patches can face consequences ranging from verbal warnings to fines. Repeated violations suggest a lack of respect for the club and its traditions, potentially leading to more serious punishment. Some chapters might impose special cleaning duties or additional responsibilities on members who fail to maintain their attire properly. This careful attention to appearance serves multiple purposes. It builds group identity, creates an intimidating presence, and allows members to instantly recognize each other and their rank. The disciplined approach to club attire reflects a broader commitment to handling all club business with similar precision and attention to established protocols. By enforcing these clothing rules, the Hells Angels maintain their distinctive image that has become recognized worldwide. Number 4. Handling club business.
We had a really good relationship and it was working. But the problem with the HAs, their individual charters are ran independently.
The Hells Angels have developed specific methods for conducting club business, resolving conflicts, and making decisions that have helped maintain order within their organization for over 70 years. These protocols aren't suggestions. They're mandatory procedures that keep the Brotherhood functioning smoothly despite operating largely outside mainstream society's rules and expectations. At the heart of club business is the weekly or bi-weekly church meeting, where important matters are discussed and decided. These meetings typically happen on the same day each week, often Sunday afternoons, which is where the term church originated. The clubhouse is secured before these meetings begin, with prospects sometimes assigned to stand watch outside. Inside, the gathering follows strict rules of order, with the president or highest-ranking officer present controlling the floor. Members speak only when recognized, and must show complete respect for the chain of command throughout the proceedings. Interrupting officers or speaking out of turn is considered seriously disrespectful and may result in being fined, asked to leave, or facing other punishments. Church meetings follow a consistent format. They typically begin with roll call to note attendance and absences. The president then outlines the agenda, often starting with reports from officers about finances, upcoming events, or security concerns. New business is addressed next, followed by any disciplinary matters that need attention. Members are expected to remain attentive and sober throughout these meetings, which can sometimes last several hours depending on the issues being discussed. Voting is a critical aspect of Hell's Angels' decision-making, creating a democratic element within their rigid hierarchy. Major decisions, including accepting new members, disciplinary actions, or significant club activities, require a vote, often needing unanimous or near-unanimous support. Each full member gets one vote regardless of rank, though prospective members have no voting rights. Voting methods vary by chapter, with some using simple hand raises, while others prefer written ballots for sensitive matters. This balance between leadership authority and collective decision-making helps ensure that important decisions have broad support within the club. Conflict resolution follows established protocols designed to prevent minor disagreements from escalating into serious problems that could divide the club. When conflicts arise between members, they're expected to first attempt to resolve the issue privately, man to man. If that fails, they bring the matter to club officers who mediate the dispute. Only as a last resort would an issue be brought before the entire membership during a church meeting. Members who repeatedly cause conflicts or fail to resolve them properly may face scrutiny about their commitment to brotherhood values. For more serious conflicts, especially those involving potential violations of club rules, formal proceedings may be conducted. The accused member has an opportunity to defend himself, witnesses can speak, and eventually the membership votes on any consequences. The Sergeant-at-Arms typically oversees these proceedings, maintaining order throughout. While not structured like a courtroom, these hearings provide members with a chance to present their side before facing judgment from their brothers. This process, while not a formal legal proceeding, provides a structured way to handle internal issues. Financial matters receive particularly careful attention. The treasurer maintains detailed records of all club funds, tracking every dollar that comes in through dues, events, and other sources. Major expenditures require approval through established channels, typically needing officer authorization or a membership vote depending on the amount. Monthly financial reports are standard practice in most chapters. Members entrusted with club funds are held to high standards of accountability, with serious consequences for mismanagement or theft of club money, potentially including beating, expulsion, or worse. Relations with other chapters and with the national or international organization follow specific protocols. Local chapters maintain significant autonomy in day-to-day operations, but must follow broader organizational directives on major issues affecting the club's reputation or security. Communication between chapters happens through designated representatives, often the president or a specially appointed liaison officer, ensuring that messages are accurately conveyed and relationships remain stable. Annual or semi-annual gatherings bring representatives from multiple chapters together to address larger issues facing the organization. Interactions with other motorcycle clubs, whether friendly or hostile, are handled according to established traditions. The Hells Angels have formal alliances with some clubs, often called support clubs, and ongoing conflicts or beefs with others. These relationships don't change based on individual members' preferences. They're official club positions that everyone must respect. Members are expected to understand these relationships and act accordingly, never making independent decisions that could affect the club's standing with other organizations. Planning events, runs, and club activities involves careful coordination, with responsibilities assigned to various members according to their skills and position. Charity rides, parties, and other public events require attention to security, finances, and public relations. The club's reputation is always a priority, with members expected to present a unified front to outsiders while following established protocols behind the scenes. Number 3. Restricted use of technology. In today's world where most people live their lives online, the Hells Angels take a deliberately cautious approach to technology. The club has strict rules limiting how members can use phones, computers, and social media. Rules designed to protect the organization from surveillance and maintain the secrecy that has helped them survive for decades. The fundamental principle behind these technology restrictions is simple. Anything digital can be monitored, recorded, and used as evidence. The Hells Angels understand that text messages, emails, social media posts, and phone calls create permanent records that can be accessed by law enforcement. To minimize this risk, the club restricts what members can discuss through digital channels. Club business must never be discussed over the phone or through text messages. Important matters are only addressed in person, preferably in secure locations like the clubhouse that may be regularly swept for listening devices. When members need to communicate remotely, they often use pre-arranged code words or vague language that wouldn't be meaningful to outsiders who might be monitoring communications. Social media presents particular risks that the Hells Angels take seriously. Many chapters prohibit members from having social media accounts entirely. Those that allow social media impose strict rules: no posting photos of club gatherings, no identifying other members, no discussing club activities, and no displaying club insignia in ways that connect real identities to club membership. Some chapters require members to use fake names on social media and maintain strict privacy settings. When attending club meetings, members may be required to leave their phones outside the room or place them in signal-blocking containers. This prevents both intentional and accidental recording of sensitive discussions. Some chapters have designated phone-free zones within clubhouses where important conversations happen. For necessary communications about sensitive matters, many Hells Angels use burner phones, prepaid devices that can be easily discarded, or encrypted messaging apps that offer more security than standard text messages. Even with these precautions, members are trained to assume all digital communications could potentially be monitored. Photos and videos present another technological risk. While members might take pictures at events for personal memories, strict rules govern what can be captured and how those images can be shared. Photos showing illegal activities, chapter gatherings, or identifying multiple members together are particularly restricted. Some chapters ban photography entirely at certain events. The Hells Angels' careful approach extends to their online presence as an organization. Official websites and social media accounts, when they exist, are carefully managed by designated members and contain only information already publicly available. These official channels never discuss internal matters or current activities. Members also receive guidance about protecting their personal devices. Password protection, encryption, and regular security checks for tracking software or spyware are common practices, especially for members in leadership positions who might be specific targets for surveillance. These technology restrictions might seem paranoid to outsiders, but they reflect the club's long experience with law enforcement infiltration and surveillance. By maintaining these strict limits on digital communication, the Hells Angels uphold their traditional emphasis on face-to-face interaction and verbal agreements, reinforcing the code of secrecy and silence that has long been central to their survival. Number 2. Secrecy and silence. Perhaps no rule is more fundamental to the Hells Angels' survival than their code of secrecy and silence. This unwritten law governs how members interact with the outside world, particularly when it comes to law enforcement, the media, and anyone else curious about the club's activities. The simplest version of this rule is often expressed as, "What happens in the club stays in the club." Members are forbidden from discussing internal matters with anyone outside the organization. Not with friends, not with family, not even with spouses in many cases. Church meetings, chapter decisions, conflicts between members, and club operations must remain strictly confidential. The only people entitled to this information are patched members in good standing. This secrecy extends especially to interactions with law enforcement. The Hells Angels follow a strict no-cooperation policy with police and other authorities. Members are expected to remain silent when questioned, regardless of the circumstances. The phrase, "I have nothing to say," becomes a mantra in these situations. Members are taught to request a lawyer immediately and to say absolutely nothing without legal representation present. The consequences for breaking this code of silence are among the most severe the club imposes. Members who share information with law enforcement, snitching, face immediate expulsion from the club and may face violent retaliation. Even in cases where a member faces serious prison time, cooperation with authorities in exchange for leniency is considered an unforgivable betrayal of the brotherhood. Media interactions are similarly restricted. Unauthorized interviews or providing information to journalists, authors, or filmmakers about the club can result in serious consequences. When the Hells Angels do interact with media, it happens through carefully selected spokespeople who have explicit permission to represent the club. These representatives stick to approved talking points and never discuss sensitive internal matters. The secrecy rule applies even to seemingly innocent conversations. Members learn to deflect questions about the club with humor, vague responses, or by changing the subject. They're trained to recognize when casual conversations might be fishing for information and to be constantly aware of who might be listening. Court proceedings present particular challenges to the code of silence. Members called to testify in cases involving other members face difficult choices. Lying under oath carries legal risks, while telling the truth might violate club rules. The Hells Angels typically instruct members to claim a lack of knowledge or memory, rather than directly lie or cooperate. In some cases, members have accepted contempt of court charges and jail time rather than testify against brothers. This wall of silence extends to prospective members who learn early in their association with the club that asking too many questions or sharing too much information marks them as untrustworthy. The prospecting period serves partly to evaluate candidates' ability to maintain secrecy before they're trusted with sensitive information. Even in the digital age, when information flows freely and privacy seems increasingly rare, the Hells Angels maintain their traditional emphasis on secrecy. This discipline has helped them survive decades of law enforcement efforts to infiltrate and dismantle their organization. The effectiveness of their code of silence is evident in how little concrete information has emerged about their internal operations, despite their high profile. For the Hells Angels, secrecy isn't just about avoiding legal consequences, it's about maintaining the mystique and brotherhood that defines their identity. However, for those who fail to maintain this secrecy, or who break other club rules, the consequences can be swift and severe. Number 1. Consequences for breaking rules. The Hells Angels rules wouldn't mean much without enforcement, and the club has developed a graduated system of punishments to address violations. These consequences range from minor penalties for small infractions to severe punishment for serious betrayals, creating a disciplinary system that maintains order within the brotherhood. Minor rule violations, like missing a meeting without a legitimate excuse, showing up late to events, or failing to properly maintain club attire, typically result in fines. These financial penalties vary based on the specific violation and the member's history, but they provide a constant reminder that rules matter. Paying these fines promptly is itself a rule, with additional consequences for those who delay. For more significant violations, members might face temporary suspensions from club activities. During these periods, suspended members cannot attend club functions, wear club colors, or represent the Hells Angels in any way. These suspensions serve both as punishment and as a cooling-off period, giving members time to reflect on their actions and recommit to following the rules. Certain violations require more direct physical punishment. While the specifics aren't generally discussed publicly, members who disrespect leadership, cause problems while representing the club, or break other important rules might face physical discipline administered by the sergeant-at-arms or other members. These beatdowns aren't about causing serious injury, but about providing memorable consequences for unacceptable behavior. For more serious offenses, members might be required to surrender their patches temporarily, a significant punishment in a culture where the patches represent membership and identity. Having to remove the colors is deeply humiliating and serves as a public acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Members without patches lose their voting rights and other privileges until they earn their way back into good standing. The most severe punishment short of expulsion is a bad standing designation. Members in bad standing remain part of the club, but face significant restrictions and lose the respect and support normally offered to brothers. This status is usually temporary, with specific requirements the member must meet to return to good standing. The ultimate punishment is expulsion from the club, being out bad or out in bad standing. This permanent removal happens for the most serious violations: cooperating with law enforcement, stealing from the club, showing cowardice in critical situations, or other major betrayals of trust. Expelled members must surrender all club property, remove or cover Hell's Angels tattoos, and have no further contact with members. In some cases, particularly those involving cooperation with authorities, expelled members may face threats of violence. What makes the Hell's Angels disciplinary system effective is its consistency and the certainty of consequences. Every member knows that violations will be addressed, with no exceptions even for high-ranking officers. This creates an environment where following the rules becomes second nature, not just because of fear of punishment, but because members understand that these rules maintain the order and unity that gives the club its strength. The consequences aren't administered arbitrarily. Most chapters have established procedures for determining guilt and deciding appropriate punishment, often involving discussion among officers or votes by the full membership. This process helps ensure that discipline remains fair and proportional, rather than becoming personal or vindictive. Through this comprehensive system of consequences, the Hell's Angels maintain the structure and discipline that has allowed them to survive for over 7 decades, while other outlaw motorcycle clubs have fractured or disappeared. The knowledge that rule-breaking will result in meaningful punishment keeps members in line and reinforces the seriousness of the commitment they've made to the Brotherhood.